welcome back to my channel. It's May if you're new here. And yes, I'm wearing the same shirt I was wearing last video. I'm filming these on the same day, so whatever, doesn't matter. Today I am going to do a review for These Witches Don't Burn by Isabel Sterling. I just finished this book yesterday, so my ideas are really fresh and hopefully I can convey them in a way that you'll understand. So to start, I would like to say that I myself am a queer reader. I am asexual and a lesbian, and I'm currently dating a girl who's amazing and she's bi. So I did pick this book up to look at the queer representation, but also to enjoy it. So that out of the way, this book is about a teenage witch. Her name is Hannah. Yes. Sorry, I'm really bad with names, especially when it's in first person because they don't usually say their name. So her name is Hannah, and she's an elemental, which means she controls various elements. And it deals with her having to deal with her ex-girlfriend, who's also an elemental, a new crush, her best friend, and also a threat against her family and her clan, which is like the group of witches. So an exciting premise. So I'll start with the magic aspect of this book. One, if you're here for anything groundbreaking, anything exciting, dramatic about magic, you probably won't find it in this book. The magic within here makes sense, it's logical, and it's explained enough that we understand, but we aren't bombarded by rules. The rules are actually there aren't rules laid out except for the fact that she can't tell non-witches about magic. So you don't have to sit there through different rules, which I enjoy. The magic is very natural, but it's also very subdued. It's present, it is utilized, it is a main faction. That's not the word. It's a main point of the story. You can't remove it. It's very obvious it's there. It is different, but it's not dramatic. There aren't huge battles. There aren't climactic scenes with magic. It is used in climactic scenes, but it's also utilized realistically, if that makes sense. The author, I feel, went for a sense of if magic was real and they were using it within our society, how would they be able to use it and not be spotted? And it's really good. There are even like 3 different types of magic: casters, elementals, and blood magic, and so that makes it interesting. It's developed and it's very well thought out. But again, if you're anything dramatic, think like Harry Potter or like any high fantasy or even like mild fantasy magic, you're probably not gonna get that. It's very natural. But again, it is an important part of the story. So if you don't like magic, it's present, it's there. The characters, I enjoyed the characters. I liked them. I mean, obviously I was frustrated, especially with her ex, because I was like, come on, like, why are you acting like that? But that was the point. There was great character development. Someone actually messaged me when they saw I was reading this book and was like, oh my gosh, I love that book. The character development is so natural and so good. And I do agree with them. The character development is really good, and each character changes and they actually grow. And like the changes are like small, or like not necessarily changes, but facts are revealed, or it's good character development, I will say. There's one major point I can't say without spoiling, and this is a spoiler-free review, but I will say if you read the book towards the end, one of the driving factors that one of the main characters has, one of the main characters, Hannah, specifically has regarding her family. I wish that had been developed a bit stronger by her having a deeper, like a scene where she had more of a connection to a person within her family to build up her reaction to something, but that was me personally. I don't think it had to be in there, and I think she does have a strong enough build with her family to incorporate in the story. In terms of the queer representation, I think it is quite excellent. The main character is lesbian, and I really enjoyed the fact that the book was not, oh my god, the book had nothing to do with like her struggling with her identity, her struggling with telling people, her struggling with her, no. Oh my god, I hate, like, I don't hate it, but like not every queer books needs to frickin' be that. I'm sorry, like, that's just annoying. We want books where we're normal too. And that's what this book is. Like, she's lesbian, it's out, it's very clear, she states it, there are a lot of jokes. And there are mentions like her best friend Gemma, her family isn't very welcoming to her after they find out she's gay. So there's, you know, there's tension with that, but it's not the main focus of the story. It just makes it realistic and truthful, and it enables more character development there. So I don't know, I really enjoyed that. There's also a trans character. His name is Cal. He's a sweetheart. I love him. Introduced very naturally. I loved that because I don't know, as a queer person, whenever you meet another person who's queer and you say something about it, they immediately like, oh my god, like, yeah, like my boyfriend, or like, oh yeah, like I'm trans or whatever. I mean, not all the time, obviously, like people have boundaries or whatever, but that's kind of the interaction that happened, and I found it very relatable for like personal experience with me, so I enjoyed it. I loved it. The fact that there's a trans character, there's a bi character, there's a lesbian as the main character, and it's like explicitly said and defined is really great to me. I loved that. And again, it's a main aspect of the story, but it's not the freaking plot, which I didn't want. Like, listen, I love it, I enjoy it, not love it, but like I enjoy tension, and like sure, like, but I don't want the whole plot to be like, oh my god, they hate me because I'm gay. Like, I don't need that in my life. This is an escapism. Thank you very much. And it's not always realistic, but I love that, and I thought it was great representation from my personal experience. The plot itself, okay, so the plot itself, good. I personally was not surprised by anything that happened. There wasn't a moment where I was like, what? I didn't see that coming. I saw, well, there was one small detail that was revealed that I was a little bit like, oh, okay, and it was about Cal. But other than that, I knew who like the bad guy was. I knew like what was gonna happen, what path the character was gonna take. So I wasn't terribly shocked. So that's just me personally, but I didn't deter like the plot itself. Like, I was still interested, I wasn't bored, and it didn't feel recycled. It was just kind of like I could read the clues that were set up. And maybe that's just because I've read so much, you know, like you read so many books like this, you just know the clues that will be put in there. So that was more what it was. The clues were there and I could read them, which I guess is a really good thing because, you know, it's not like a complete blindside where you're like, this makes no sense. The plot was good. The ending was good, except for it set up a sequel. And I mentioned this in my last video, but that's the one thing I did not like. I thought this was a standalone, but it's a sequel. Not a sequel. It's the first in like a series, I think. The ending set up for a sequel, and there has to be a sequel, I think. And I just don't like series. I just want to read one book and then move on to another book. But it's fine. I enjoyed this enough to like actually pick up a second book. So I'm not too heartbroken, but I'd rather just have it finished. But it's wrapped up nicely. Again, the characters develop, plot makes sense. There wasn't any like plot holes I saw. No, there wasn't any plot holes. Things were set up very nicely to where you could later on like look back and see, or if you were me, like see almost right away. But I thought it was original. Like I said, the magic system isn't over like huge, crazy, but it's original enough. Like, you know, people who control the elements. Okay, like, kind of like Avatar. Sure, that's kind of in there, but it's different in its own right. You know, it's her feeling magic within herself and like using it to move elements and to talk to elements and like convey her will into elements, which, you know, very simple, but kind of unique and new. The two clans, you know, we don't really know a lot about the Castor clan, but we do like, and we don't really know about blood witches other than the fact that people fear them. So, you know, there's set up to more learning experience outside of elementals, which I really like. I think it's nice, and I can tell that the magic system is built. So do I recommend this book? Yes, I highly suggest it, especially if you're looking for a mixture between contemporary and magic, like kind of like magic realism. I think it's kind of in there, though I don't truly know the definition for magic realism, so I might be using that wrong, I'm sorry, but I will say it's a blend of like magic with like real life. Queer representation, great, don't have a problem with. And if I gave it a star, I gave it stars in Goodreads because they ask you to. I gave it 4 out of 5, but I generally don't believe in the star things. But I do suggest this book. I say go pick it up. I hope you enjoyed this review. I feel like it was a little rambly, all my videos are. But if you want to see more videos like this, just subscribe to my channel. I also have a bookstagram that I post a couple reviews on, like the little reviews for books that I don't always post on this channel. And if there are any books you want to see me review, especially if you want like books for queer representation viewed, I would love to read those. I have a few on my shelf I want to get to. And I kind of want to make a series, you know, where a queer reader reads queer reads. So just, you know, if you have any recommendations, whatever, let me know. And I will see you guys next video. Bye.
The sunburst flowers calling on warm days overdue.